Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I am your hostess with the mostest knowledge of horrifying places. Bear that in mind as we chat the top 10 places scarier than Area 51 Part 2. Landon did Part 1, but he wants me to bring you Part 2, so you guys are in for a treat. Let's get spooky. Before we do though, I want to ask you what you think the happiest place on earth is. A bit of brief respite before we get dark. For me, the happiest place is anywhere where my friends, family and Danny are. Honestly, it doesn't matter where that would be, but if they were all together, that's the happiest place on earth. For me. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Also like this video and share it with a friend. If you want to read more about our sources, they're all in the description box, as are links to our most amazing Instagrams. Stick around to the end because I'm going to be replying to comments. Coming in at number 10, we have the Belize hole. Okay, listen, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you will know that while I do love the ocean, deep sea creatures scare the heck out of me. So with that in mind, what do you think lives in this big deep hole? Because honestly, I don't want to know. The Great Blue Hole is a giant submarine sinkhole off the coast of Belize, and oh my god, can you even imagine what deep sea creatures are lurking in there just waiting to strike? The overhead aerial shots are just incredible, as are the shots from in the hole looking up. Yep, that's right, you can do some shallow diving in the hole. The hole is 300 meters wide and 125 meters deep, and it's filled with all kinds of marine mysteries. You can't go that deep down. Sure, Area 51 may have a hearty slice of them aliens, but some deep sea creatures are as good as aliens to me. There's a whole bunch of weird things going on in there. To me, when I imagine aliens, I often imagine them looking like deep sea jellies, so what's the difference? Coming in at number 9, we have PRIPYAT. There are many reasons that PRIPYAT in the Ukraine is terrifying, but let's start with the nuclear radiation. It's a very good place to start. PRIPYAT is a ghost town that stands next to the Chernobyl power plant, home of the famous Chernobyl incident of 1986. On April 27th of that year, the worst nuclear disaster in history took place when a reactor exploded and caught fire. This billowed radioactive contamination across the area. It is actually noted to have precipitated in parts of Russia and West Europe. It was serious. It caught fire and it was finally contained 9 days later. Around 100 people died, but it led to the indirect deaths of thousands. In the Chernobyl TV show, the Pripyat Bridge of Death is highlighted. Allegedly, a crowd gathered on the bridge that linked Pripyat to Chernobyl, unaware that they were exposing themselves to harmful radiation as they watched the power plant burn. Now there is an 18-mile exclusion zone around the area, which includes the town of Pripyat, which used to be home to 49,000 people, but is now utterly abandoned and utterly poisonous. Abandoned places are creepy anyway, but throw in some toxic radiation? No. Images of the abandoned amusement park scare me the most. Some urban explorers have ventured in to capture footage of the spooky town, but honestly, I would rather them than me. And also, I am sure that it's haunted. I'm sure. Speaking of haunting, coming in at number 8, we have Nagoro in Japan. Never mind them aliens, it's them dolls I'm afraid of. I know that Japan is quirky and by and large I would love to visit, but this is one place that I would absolutely not want to step foot in. You couldn't even pay me. Nestled in the mountains of West Japan, there is a tiny village filled with life-size dolls, and I do not stan. The dolls in the village outnumber the humans 10 to 1. As the population dwindled, oddly, the amount of dolls increased. Abandoned schools and grocery stores are now literally filled with dolls. They've been put in positions to mimic those who have left, which is so weird. You can find a bunch of them waiting at a bus stop for a bus that will never come, others sitting behind desks at school. There are 40 people and 400 dolls in this town, and growing. I don't like those odds. I really don't. Coming into number 7, we have the Church of Bones. Them aliens is one thing, but a church decorated with the bones of 30,000 plague victims is entirely another. Entering the Sedlec ossuary won't get you shot, but it could haunt you for the rest of your life. The ossuary is a small Roman Catholic chapel in the town of Seldik in the Czech Republic. The building dates back to the 13th century, but it seems that it received its macabre makeover in the 16th century when a blind monk exhumed bones surrounding the land. Now the church boasts pillars of skulls, chandeliers of assorted parts. It's weirdly ostentatious and utterly horrifying. Scarier still is the bone art. Who does that? Scary or not, it hasn't seemed to put people off. One person even asked on Google reviews if they could get married there. Thankfully, the answer is no. Coming in at number 6, where do some of the most terrifying Russian prisoners go? Black Eagle Penal Colony 56. I don't want to go there, I don't. So you would have to have done some really awful stuff to get yourself banged up in Penal Colony 56. This is a Russian gulag home to 260 killers who between them are thought to have extinguished the lives of 800 people. These prisoners are kept inside for 23 hours a day and just given 1 hour to walk in a roofless room. The gulag is 7 hours from civilization deep in the middle of a forest. In the winter, temperatures drop to -40 degrees Celsius and Fahrenheit. In 1997, Moscow suspended the death penalty. In 2017, the first inmate was released from Black Eagle 56. Release or death are the only way you're getting out of that prison. You can't escape unless you want to be mauled by animals or freeze to death in the forest. Would you want to spend a day inside Black Eagle with some of the biggest Russian killers? I know that I wouldn't. Coming into number 5, we have Al Azizia. I don't believe in hell, but if I did, I think it would look a bit like Al Azizia in Libya. Al Azizia is thought to be the hottest place on Earth with recorded temperatures of 57.8 degrees Celsius, that's 136 degrees Fahrenheit. However, this record was discredited and later ignored as the record keeper was inexperienced. That being said, recorded temperatures have regularly exceeded 50 degrees Celsius, which is so hot. It isn't surprising though, seeing as it's in the middle of an actual desert, although people do live here, which to me is very, very, very stressful. I actually almost had a panic attack walking in an hour with no shade in the midday sun when it was only 27 degrees the other week, so I'm pretty sure that I would pass away. RIP me. The hot and arid land is an hour's drive away from the coast, but if your car broke down, it would take you 9.5 hours to walk to the water. In those conditions, you'd die. Coming in at number 4, more hell. We've got the doorway to hell in Turkmenistan. I feel like Turkmenistan doesn't get enough airtime here on Most Amazing Top 10, so I'm just gonna give it some love right now. It doesn't come up that much, so I'm giving it its time to shine, and shine it shall in all of its fiery glory. So the official name of the doorway to hell is the Devaza gas crater. It is a 230-foot hole that has been on fire since 1971. It was created when a Soviet drilling rig accidentally hit a gas cavern, causing the rig to fall into the collapsed ground. Poisonous gas fumes were leaking into the air, so the Soviets decided to set it alight in the hope that it would stop burning in a few weeks. It's been nearly 50 years and it's still on fire. Oddly, Turkmenistan are hoping that it will become a tourist attraction. Even weirder, the president of Turkmenistan was rumoured to have died, but just this week he revealed he was alive in a sensational video of him driving rings around the fiery pit. Now, I thought politics in the UK was bizarre, but it turns out we're not the weirdest ones on Earth. Ooh, coming in at number 3, we have Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo is a serious place. For those that end up prisoner there, it is categorically the worst place in the world. In fact, according to Amnesty International, it is a place in major violation of human rights. Inmates are detained indefinitely without trial. There have been a lot of reports of prisoner torture here. A lot of people have died here, a lot by suicide, although you won't find out exactly how many. Minors are also reported to have been detained here, so youths have also been subjected to savage treatment. Guantanamo was opened in 2002 by George W. Bush as part of his war on terror, and despite calls for it to be closed, President Trump has said it will remain open indefinitely. 40 people remain there, and by and large they are people suspected of being enemies of the United States. The detention camp is in a far-flung part of Cuba and is surrounded by ocean on one side and wasteland on another. It's a scary, desolate, isolated and inescapable place. The most terrifying thing is that within Guantanamo, the United States government agents and soldiers can do whatever they want to prisoners without worrying about the law. Coming into number 2, we have the entire country of North Korea. Okay, level with me here. I get that Area 51 is scary and you'll get shot trying to enter, but visiting North Korea means you might never be able to leave, and if you do, you'll probably be doing it in a coffin. In theory, anyone can freely visit North Korea, aside from South Koreans and journalists who are regularly denied entry. The thing is though, when you're there, you're only allowed to travel inside strictly designated tour areas with Korean guides. If you try to stray off the beaten path, well, no matter what religion you believe in, you'd better start praying. Canada and the United States of America heavily discourage anyone from visiting the volatile country, which is known to be not so secretly developing nuclear weapons. Let me draw your attention to the case of Otto Warmbier. The American university student visited Pyongyang at the end of 2015 when he was studying abroad in Hong Kong. In January 2016, he was arrested for attempting to steal a propaganda sign and sentenced to 15 years hard labor. This is what the North Korean government tells us anyway. We actually don't know if he ever tried to steal the sign, and even if he did, 15 years hard labor. Either way, what would seem like harmless funds in Western countries would actually get you sentenced to, you know, something equivalent of a life sentence in some countries. Eventually, Warmbier was returned to the United States in June 2017, however, he was delivered in a coma. 6 days after returning back to US soil, he sadly passed away aged 22. His story, of course, is not unique. There are millions of people living in a dictatorship, and many people want out. Defectors have spoken out about how tough and cruel life is living there. Alright, we started this video with a hole, let's end it with one. Coming into number 1, the scariest place ever, a black hole. Okay, listen, name me a place scarier than a black hole, because you can't. Trust me, you can't. There is no place scarier. I will, on record, nowhere. Black holes are areas of space and time that exhibit such strong gravitational pull on things, from particles to radiation and even light, that nothing can escape it. This is where the laws of physics as we know them break down. Particles are torn up on what is known as the event horizon. This is the beginning of a swirl-like drain around a black hole. The event horizon is the point of no return. What's at the end of a black hole? We just don't know. The nearest black hole to Earth is thought to be up to 12 times the mass of our Sun. Named Monocerotis, it is 3,000 light years away, that's 18 trillion miles, but it's still there, and that knowledge sends cold shivers down my spine and fills my mind with a cold and deep existential dread. Well guys, so we've ended this video on existential dread, so you name me a place scarier than Area 51. But also, I still want you to name me your happiest place. Where's the happiest place on Earth for you? Because with all the lows, we gotta end them with highs. Speaking of ending on a high, I'm gonna be reading some comments from the top 10 scary occurrences that happened at 3 AM. Now this was a collab with me and Che, and we loved bringing you the scary stories. We had a horrifying comment from Jackie L, who wrote, "When you're laying in bed at 3 AM and the fridge starts making ice cubes." I mean, that really would make me beep myself. I've censored myself, but still, that's terrifying. KGB Zika said, "I love the energy of having you two guys hosting together. You're all equally amazing. Keep up the good work." Thank you. Okay, we had some speculation from Diego Romero. They wrote, "Right off the bat, I can tell that Che likes Rebecca, but likes Eamon, if that makes sense. Much more chemistry between Che and Eamon in my opinion." What delicious gossip! Do you guys think that we should set them up, or is that not my place? Good, great, I love a scandal. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm gonna go before I get badly told off for making these comments. Lots of love, see you soon, bye!